Hi everybody! So I know that some of the people that watch my videos are already here in Japan working, okay? And I've worked here for 33 years, not to, what's it called? Toot my own horn, whatever. It's definitely not something that I'm like bragging about, but it's been a long ride, okay? And there's a lot of things that I have learned along the way that might help you so that you don't have to follow the same steps. So a lot of the things are terms, okay? Terms that are constantly used in a Japanese business environment that are hard to understand because the context can change, the nuances can change. So sometimes, we understand words like wakarimashita and we understand words like ikimasu and things like that. But for instance, I've always noticed that once you've increased in ability in a language like Japanese, our ears tend to filter the words we know. So when we are watching the news, we hear words we know and we make assumptions about what we are understanding from that news, when actually we're missing a whole bunch of words that actually change the meaning, right? So one of the words or phrases I wanted to discuss today is HouRenSou. I'm sure that you've heard this if you work in Japan. HouRenSou, especially if you speak Japanese. HouRenSou is actually spinach, okay? In Japanese, HouRenSou is what you call spinach in Japan, but it's a play on words for Houkoku, Renraku, Soudan, okay? HouRenSou, Houkoku, reporting, Renraku, communicating, Soudan, consulting or asking questions. Okay, Soudan, advisory or something. Seeking advice maybe would be good. So HouRenSou is something that Japanese companies and Japanese business people very highly value. Okay, and this is not only in the company. This is with your Japanese partner too. With your counterpart. HouRenSou is important. Okay? So let's say we started a project together. Before we even start a project, okay? Because I think a lot of people talk like, oh, we started a project, like it just happened. No, it doesn't just happen. Oh my gosh, most of the projects that my company does, it takes at least 6 months to get it going. Like it's a 6-month process to even get it where it's like, okay, let's do that. So that's not even talking about like a contract or any kind of payment or anything like that. I mean, you need to give it 6 months to even get there. So basically, in my case, HouRenSou Houkoku Renraku Soudan is applied to every single step along the way. Whether it's before the project has been decided, whether it's after the project has been decided, it's underway, whether the project is done, and I'm looking to maybe lead this into another project, okay? Houkoku Renraku Soudan is very important. So the way it's done is, all right, so let's say, okay, this is a very typical example. Somebody you know introduces you to somebody else. Step 1. That person who introduced you has now put their reputation on the line by introducing you. So that's why introductions in Japan weigh a lot. There's a lot of responsibility on an introduction. So let's say Tanaka-san has introduced me to Yoshida-san. Okay? So maybe Tanaka-san and Yoshida-san have worked together. Or Yoshida-san asked Tanaka-san, oh, we want to do this thing. Do you know anybody who might be good at this? And Tanaka-san has kindly said, well, I worked with this lady named Ruth, and she's very good, and she's got this little company, and she might be able to help you. And he, behind the scenes, before I even know about it, he's probably given them the link to my website. That's why websites are really important in Japanese. He's probably given them the link. They've done their due diligence. They see that I'm not a bad person. And they've maybe probably done a bad background check or whatever. So then usually it's Tanaka-san who writes me a mail and says, I would like to introduce you to Yoshida-san. And Yoshida-san is thinking about doing this. It would be great if you guys could start by exchanging information, Jouhou Koukan. Now that is your start. It's from that moment that you have to prove yourself. And it's from that moment that you have to start gaining the trust of Yoshida-san. By default, you have some amount of trust, maybe let's say 25%, based on Yoshida-san's trust of Tanaka-san, okay? But now you, as an individual, have to prove your worth and prove that you are trustworthy to Yoshida-san. So the first thing you do there is literally as soon as you can. Within an hour is best. But of course, you're not going to check your mail and you won't see it that quickly. But like, if it's not within 24 hours that you do a response, you would be very careful to say, こちらからの連絡が遅くなって申し訳ありません. I'm very sorry for the late reply. Even if it's like within 48 hours, it's still late. Basically, when you get an introduction like that, it's like, bam! You got to do it right away. So, nice to meet you through Tanaka-san. Tanaka-san and I worked on this project together, and it was such an honor for me to work with them there. And I would be honored also to work with you. Looking forward to maybe speaking with you. I think the idea that I see in this mail looks great. Very much interested in hearing more. And whenever you have a moment to spare, why don't we have an online meeting or whatever? Already, that is 報告、連絡、相談. Why? Because Tanaka-san is in CC on that mail. All right? So for quite a while, until things kind of get off the ground, Tanaka-san is responsible for you since he gave you that introduction, or she or them gave you that introduction. They are responsible for you and how things go with Yoshida-san. They feel responsible for you being happy, for me, Ruth, being happy, as well as for Yoshida-san being happy. So keeping them in CC is not so that anybody can check on you or nothing like that. It's that they can 把握する, be aware. 把握する of what's going on and how things are progressing. Okay, so just to finish this video, because I have plenty of kind of advice like this. To finish this video, so the other day, similar thing happened. It took about a year, but finally, the project looks like it's going to get underway. We have an actual meeting coming this week. The original person who introduced me is somebody I work with at a different company. I have decided to wait until after that first meeting to really see if this is concretely going to happen or not. And once I know that it concretely will happen, that's when I do my 報告連絡相談 to the original person who introduced me. So that person was originally on the emails for quite a while. Then we, itoteki basically purposely removed that person from CC, letting them know you don't have to be in CC anymore because it's going to be all this yaritori and back and forth. But now that things have become more concrete, I need to write to that person and say, thank you so much for your introduction. And then within a day or two, send them something. Send them a bottle of sake from somewhere, or you send them something. You say thank you. If it's a huge monetary income that you get, sometimes people actually give like almost like a commission or like a 紹介料みたいなもの, like something for the introduction. But if that wasn't decided from the beginning, which it usually isn't, then I usually think it's fine to do a very nice gift, like whether it's some really beautiful flower arrangement, like a nice one, or a lot of people like sake, right? So some really good sake that you like from somewhere in Japan, or if somebody doesn't drink alcohol, then like one of these organic, like one of my favorite places is in Akita, and they make these nuts, these really good nut packages and things like that. So just something out of the blue to that person just to say thank you is like a way to sort of tie up that introduction that you got. That person will know that you're happy. That person will be happy. And then if it continues down the line and something big happens in the future, you could also do Soldan with them. Would you like to be on the project, or, other things like that. But keeping in close contact with everyone involved in the project is really important. And the style of close contact, whether it's a counterpart, partner, or someone in your company, is called HouRenSou, 報告連絡相談. So if you hear HouRenSou in a business context, it's not spinach. Okay, so if you have some words that you don't know, or like phrases, how they're used, let me know. and I will try to explain it as best I can. I have tried to navigate this for a very long time. So I do have some ways that I've tried to understand things, and I hope that it would help you. Okay, bye. See you next time. Bye-bye.